All right, looks like we're live. Welcome to a very special episode of Raising Funds for World Domination. So we're up to day 32 now, and today I figured I might as well change up my intro because today was my my L2 merits eviction hearing for the so we finally got around to a hearing for actually discussing the merits of the so-called extensive renovations. So if you've been following along, this is the third hearing that has been scheduled. The first one was canceled. The second one was a adjudicative case conference with a bunch of other people to ask if we should combine the cases, and then. So this is the getting into the meat of arguments about whether it's actually necessary to evict all the tenants in order to complete the proposed extensive renovations. So I was thinking there's a chance that we might get through it and then we'd wait and then get a conclusion. It's not surprising, but the conclusion was that there is going to be at least one more hearing. So we heard from 4 or 5 witnesses today, and they went through cross-examination. And I won't give too many details on it because it's still this case doesn't just affect me; it affects at least like 30 other people in this building. Who are still hanging on, but the basically there was just some witnesses called upon, and they were cross-examined about should is it how much work do you think it'll take, and ask specific questions about what the pipes are like in the building and how old the building is and stuff, all kinds of stuff like that. Are you feeling positive? Yes, in my overall opinion. I'm not sure what way the tenant board will lean, but in my opinion, the defense provided by the landlord's representation, in my opinion, was not very strong. But it will. It depends. There's also some witnesses on the tenant side that I have not heard from yet, so we'll see how strong they are. But in my opinion, any intelligent person could sit down for 5 minutes and just review some of the evidence and be like, oh yeah, this is nonsense. They should just deny all of them. But I guess they have to be thorough. They can't necessarily just be flippant about it. They need something to actually cite. So, I probably won't go into more detail than that. There may be some. So the conclusion was. They just finished at 4 or something today, and then I went for a run because I was sitting all day, and I asked the adjudicator when the next hearing will be, and he said he doesn't. He said probably not. Probably won't be in June. So it may be later than that. So I don't know. Who knows? It may be another 4 months away or something. Which in a way is I guess it was 2 months between the last hearing and this one. So I don't know. I guess another 2-month break is okay. But it's still annoying though, because on him, I was considering maybe I'd go somewhere this summer, but then to make plans, as of today, I have no idea when the next hearing will be. So I have to wait and do nothing. I have to stay put until I know when the next hearing is, because theoretically it could be 30 days away or something if they want to expedite it. But Most likely it won't, but it'll probably be like, 2 months, month and a half or something out. And then I have to like, if I'm going to go to it, then I have to make sure I'm around or not on vacation. I mean, in a way, it's not too bad for me because I kind of just don't go anywhere all the time. But hello from Jordan. It is the country name, Jordan. I know where that place is. That's one of those countries you don't hear a lot about. How far do you typically run? Do you track things, or just bust out like a wild stallion in blue jeans? I do run in my jeans usually. I actually don't even know how far it is. There's a street here that's I don't know, maybe like three or 4 blocks or something like that, and I run up and down it. It's kind of a residential area, but it's not too many cars, and there's lots of like kids running around and stuff, so I won't get hit by a car. And I go up and down that 6 times. That's my run routine. By too soon time, assuming evictions are paused until hearings are complete. Yeah. So the way it works is like the existing contract is still in place. You just pay your rent, and it's like nothing changes until they actually get the eviction order. And then it's only once they get the eviction order, then the clock really starts ticking. Do you bust out like a wild stallion? Yeah, kind of. It's kind of like that. All right, let's. I'm kind of tired today because I woke up like way earlier than I needed to, and I was. I shouldn't really have drank coffee today. I drank coffee and I was like super apprehensive because I had to like wait my turn to speak and ask some questions and stuff. And yeah, I have no eviction hearings for at least a few weeks, and I just finished working on last couple of weeks. I was working on the shorts video, so I'll have a bit of time during the day now to actually work on the next thing. I don't know. I'm debating what should I do next. There's so many things I could do. I'd like to do a few different shorts ideas. Maybe I'll try to crank those out, maybe, in the interest of getting stuff out. And VHY sends $2 for Domination. Writing to 50 characters to get my money's worth. Is that all it allows you? 50 characters? Thank you very much for the $2. Let's see. So last time I improved the coloring, standardized it. I think it scales with the $sign you send. Oh, okay. That makes sense. maybe the next thing I'll work on is I like that I can now close the inventory. That makes it look a lot cooler to have a full screen. All right, I think next thing will be split percentages. So here I have, so instead of just like setting things to have like an equal division of space, it's going to make sense to make it like a scalable. So at runtime, that way I can like increase or decrease the size of one frame relative to the other. How is hearing? Sorry, I'm late. Actually, if you go back to the intro, just go back to skip back to the intro and then 2x speed it. It's too much work to explain it all again. Late, straight to jail. I guess, and personally, I'm the few times I do settle on the live stream, I'll sometimes be like, man, this person is like, this reality is so slow, and I'll 2x speed them, and then eventually it goes through the buffer and it goes back to normal speed, and I just can't watch them anymore. So yeah, the idea, what I'm thinking now is, so these things, so this, the equivalent of this, I can do at runtime now. So I can add a new frame at runtime, but the thing I cannot do at runtime yet is this. Any updates on the eviction hearing? I explained a bit of it in the intro, but long story short is the conclusion is there's going to be at least one more hearing. So we presented some evidence and discussed a bit about the merits and cross-examined some witnesses and recently migrated to Codeberg. Seems pretty cool. That's an alternative to GitHub, I assume. I've never heard of it. Microsoft is ruining GitHub slowly. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't store anything important on GitHub since forever. So I think the first step will be to refactor this so that split percentages is always set to something. So it'll just default to like the number of things in the split. 100 divided by number of things in the split. Just like GitLab, I'll still maintain my GitHub since GitHub is more popular, but it'll be a mirror of my Codeberg. You can always just self-host your stuff, keep it off the cloud on the ZFS pool somewhere. You can even just have like a Raspberry Pi somewhere as a cheap controller, and then host all your stuff on that. What is your average monthly income? That's a good question. So it has been going down consistently every single month since the what was it? I think the December month, that was the peak month. So that was $7,000, and last month was $1,800, and this month is looking to be, it might be even less, maybe like $1,600 or so. Which I guess is not super surprising. I haven't released a lot of long-form videos. I spent a lot of time on my immigration video, hoping that that would be a topic that a lot of people would that would pop off. But it turns out there's nobody who's interested in immigration. In CAD, yep, Canadian dollars. I guess I didn't even implement percentage on frames for vertical. Nice. Catface sends $5. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? I think it would have to be the 100 duck-sized horses, because I mean ducks are not that big, and a horse that small is not going to be able to do too much to you. Like, it's not even I mean, they can't trample you or anything, but then a horse-sized duck, the amount of like power it would have in its jaw, I would imagine it could like one-shot you. Yeah, so I'd say the 100 duck-sized horses. Yeah, I'm kind of tired and spacey tonight. It's been a long day. Long day of concentrating. Aren't birds supposed to have hollow bones? A horse-sized duck would have a lot of problems. Maybe. That's a good question, though. Because, like, to make the most meaningful interpretation of the question, you also have to consider, like, how it could have evolved to that point. So you might have to be, like, a bit slower and, like, have much more dense bones and behave a little bit less like a duck, like it would just move slower or something. But even a duck-sized duck, if it tries to bite you, it'll probably hurt. But if you had like a much bigger head, that would be it would really, really hurt. It could take a chunk out of you. How is the eviction process going? So if you want all the details, skip to the first couple of minutes. I did an intro there. But the long story short is we presented some arguments, heard some witnesses today, and there's going to be another, I guess it'll be like adjourned, and there'll be another L2 merits hearing, like basically a continuation of the next hearing date. I think he said that it probably wouldn't be in June. It would be after June. So more hearings. Need more clear requirements. Yeah. That's the important thing whenever someone prompts you about the duck versus horse question. Is it okay to smoke crack without a filter? Software engineering requires mind reading what your clients want versus what they're asking for. Okay, that's the same person asking those two questions. I guess those are conceptually related. Crack smoking and getting requirements from your clients. For the first question, it's probably not good. I would say it's not medically advisable. For the second statement, yeah, I think that's accurate. You kind of have to mind read what your clients are asking for, and then tell them that. I find a frequent response that's appropriate when people ask a question is to let people know that they're asking the wrong question. And I think software requirements is an area where that applies. Did you see Trump's duck picture? Yeah, I think I saw that briefly, some headline or something. Oh yeah, and there's a bunch of crazy stuff, escalation in the world. I've been distracted all day, but I guess after stream I'll probably catch up on news. But the world's going crazy again. Let me try to actually write some code here. work. How's the eviction situation going? I keep repeating myself. I have a longer description if you skip back to the intro. But the gist is there's another hearing. So we presented some arguments, cross-examined some witnesses, talked about the details of the plumbing and risers and stuff. And the conclusion is there will be another hearing. So we ran out of time before we get to the next witness. And I don't think we've started the tenant testimony yet. Moved on a little bit. And then next, according to the adjudicator, he said it probably would not be in June. So after June, likely. I mean, theoretically, it could be, I think, maybe as much as 30 days or something. That's the minimum legally possible, but most likely there will be another hearing where we pick up where we left off. Do you think the hearing went better or worse as expected? I think our case is quite strong, based on the testimony of witnesses cross-examined so far, and then we haven't really even gotten into. I guess there's like multiple ways to argue it. There's like one is the just arguing on the merits, like is it they have a pretty weak case for evicting everyone, and then the other one is kind of like more touchy-feely, like how it's affecting people, how it's affecting the tenants and stuff, and there's lots of like elderly people in the building who are in kind of rough shape, and like they're not really not people you could kick out in the street. Failure to correctly gather problems goes past the XY problem. I hate the process of cascading revelation of requirements via business logic and tech DBT. I'm tired enough that I'll just agree. I agree. Which reminds me of Henry Ford quote that asked people what they would have said faster horses. I know. I forget what the XY problem is. Without going into too much details, in my work we have a software with a lot of spaghetti code, spaghetti mess. Since there are no requirements, so we decided to rewrite it. But we showed this to our customer. They told us it should behave exactly like the old software. But no one knows how the old software should behave, like since there are no requirements. Yep, and then when it breaks in a weird way, they'll get mad at you. They'll be like, put those bugs back in. Maybe you could put a note on the stream in OBS to go to the beginning for rent eviction details. Yeah, I could. Maybe. I don't really have a good way to put it there in the window. I'll just, I guess, lazily. I'll probably get a few more people ask it. What is the Canadian equivalent of the Florida man? That's a good question. I don't know, maybe like might be like somewhere in Ontario, maybe. I was almost going to say Alberta. Like there's some stereotypical wacky stuff in Alberta, but if you're talking about like just a weird unhinged crime person, it'd probably be just like there's a lot of unhinged people in Toronto. It'd be like a random person on a bus in Toronto harassed people. Like there was a guy that was going around like putting like he was like defecating into a bucket and like making this like disgusting mix, and he would go into like libraries and throw this on people. And I think they actually someone made a movie about this guy, and that's an extreme example, but there's like hundreds of lesser examples, and those are all like I think around the GTA area. I unfortunately can't stick around, but that I appreciate your content and the things you choose to share. You've been very helpful when I was starting my Linux journey. I wish you the best with the legal case you're facing. Thank you for the kind words. Someone shows up and asks, how do I do X? And you ask them, why do you want to do X? The answer, okay. And you correctly reorient them to the way to accomplish Y the Z way. I guess I can understand that. Although that kind of manifests sometimes in like the typical Stack Overflow question where you're like, how do I do X? And they're like, why would you want to do that? Why would anyone want to do this specific thing? What's your main income source right now? My main income source right now is YouTube. So is exactly my go-to example of XY problem in abundance. Yeah. I can kind of understand. It does make sense, I think, to kind of initially be like, are you sure you want to do that? But then if the person's adamant about it, yeah, I can say like, theoretically you could do that, but it's not clear why you'd want to. Now the person gets what they want. Strangest thing I've heard of. The Florida man was throwing a gator into the window of a McDonald's drive-thru. He simply did it because he could. I guess in Florida you could do that. You can't do that up here in Toronto though. How much is Bitcoin going to grow? My prediction for Bitcoin is it will go up to infinity, but if you try to invest in it, it'll get stolen from you. Or there'll be some liquidity problem that makes you lose everything. XY problem reminds me of when I was learning Go. How do I get a Go routine ID? There is none. Why do you want an ID? I love that they have a standard operating procedure for gators. You empty your trash bin and shepherd them in, then turn it upright. Does McDonald's have a standard operating procedure for gators? That's news to me. I can laugh. Do I not laugh enough? I guess I need to work harder on my laughing. That's interesting. That's broken. Interesting. Oh, that would be why. That's Florida's operating procedure? Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess it would make sense. With so many gators, they would have to like have a standardized operating procedure. What was that? Poppin command line. I'm assuming you're using tmux. Yeah, it was vim-d. Some kind of diffing. Yeah, vim-d is a favorite of mine. One that looks closer to what I want. But I got that weird map bug. All right, it looks like the split percentages work with the vertical splits. Oh, weird. When I tab, the help menu is showing up. That's kind of crazy. Oh well, ignore that for now. I know someone who's making a Discord bot. They decided to overload every single method that was provided by Discord API wrapper. Apparently they did it just in case they needed to change the behavior of the library. You can use Tmux. Tmux 2 is your next project. Yeah, I guess this it kind of almost looks like a terminal emulator that I'm building, but really it's not, because a terminal emulator would actually emulate the terminal escape sequences. So I guess the difference would be with my my split. If you have like one split that is outputting, say like move cursor to 0, 0, it would move to the global 0, 0 instead of the like in frame one. Are you going to turn the emoji-like icons and do more detailed 2 details further in? Yeah, that would be the eventual vision. I think once there's like more, I don't know, the possibilities are endless. A big part of this like kind of UI thing, I think it'll also help development. I could start adding frames that actually show me like debug output and stuff. Is this game how you keep motivated for coding? I did a similar thing with C++, but motivation is low right now. I would say I have a high amount of intrinsic motivation to code, but the challenge is like getting money out of it. And I've thought for a long time, and I just think in terms of marketability and sellability and a sustainable revenue generation, developing a game is actually something that's compared to like building SaaS software, or like some kind of accounting application or something. I think a game is something that is it's much more of like an abstract idea. And there's like an infinite number of ways you can take it. Like if you build an accounting application or something to do your taxes, like if TurboTax releases the same thing, now you're like wiped out and you're like your income goes to 0. But at least with the game, you can kind of like you could pivot a bit in some direction, or I mean, there's even like the kind of a like story fantasy aspect or something. If people are just interested and inspired in the like make-believe world or something, you can turn that into something. And it's also just it's very incremental. Like I'm working on it a bit every day, so people can see a bit of an evolution over time, which makes it more marketable. But yeah, I guess I've been working on this. The last time I worked on this a lot was November, and then I got busy with a bunch of stuff. And then, so the last month or so, I've been working on it pretty much every day on stream. So I'll probably try to push through to get it to the next. I'll get this whole like crazy frame system done, and then after that, I will maybe step back and reevaluate. I also am waiting to figure out when the next eviction hearing date will be, because that determines how I'm going to plan stuff. Little do you know, I am secretly Jeff Bezos and will donate $12 billion once I sell Amazon. Excellent. My financial issues are solved forever. YouTube has a memory leak. If you use Firefox, it ends up using 4 gigabytes of RAM after 30 minutes. Interesting. Okay, I think this works now. So now let's make the split percentage thing automatic so that everything has a split percentage. We need YouTube alternative. Not gonna lie. PeerTube. I don't think I've ever watched a video on PeerTube. And YouTube is just so huge. I guess ironically, I don't really use any of the kind of federated, like Mastodon and stuff. I need to focus on recruiting, getting people into tech who are not already into tech. Remember Daily Motion? Vaguely. I don't even know if I really ever visited that website. I used Odyssey, but very few content creators upload there. Yeah, I've heard people recommend it, but I've heard of people like using it for a while and then they just stop using it because no one, like it's not even worth the effort for them. Everybody's paid $25 for an unlimited hotspot at 5 megabits per second. Would you guys consider that worth it? Recently paid $25 for an unlimited hotspot. Like a mobile network or? The phone plan, actually I should probably downgrade that. So when I was doing the testing the live streaming in the Wood series, I upgraded my phone plan to the highest, and that's it was actually not even unlimited. It was capped at 200 gigs a month, and it's like $110 a month for that on my phone. I think Canada's like some of the record-breaking, most expensive data plans. Just hit the YT memory leak. I'm gonna think of it. I don't remember leak code teaching me how to fix those. So Google may be out of luck. Same in US. Crazy expensive. Yeah, I think Canada's even worse than US. I think in the last decade we've got kind of financially shafted on everything. Housing is, I think for a while we were like one of the least housing. I think for a while Australia, I think had one of the least housing affordable places in the world, and then we recently we're number one now, I think. I think this leak is on purpose to make people switch to Chrome. I guess I haven't encountered this. The internet believes in conspiracies. I blame the Rust rewrite. YouTube probably has the brightest minds to be able to have this good uptime. They've been losing Google money for years. They threw money at the problem until it monopolized most of the video advertising on the internet. I haven't found I haven't encountered this Firefox issue yet, but I guess based on some of the things people were saying about it, maybe I'll consider using it less. The problem is there's no, so we just all use Chrome now? That's the only browser? Robert should set up his own monopoly. Well, that's what the world domination thing's for. He is cheating for something. I haven't been following the conversation. Now let's see if this breaks everything. robbery. This here is this is on bare metal. So there's a laptop here in front of me, and then there's my second monitor over here with a long HDMI cable, and then the streaming computer is over there. And yes, I have a capture card. What is your main PC, and what browser is that? Would you be willing to install uBlock Origin to monitor RAM usage? Is this you're trying to debug Firefox, or? I haven't noticed any. I actually do use Firefox a bit on my main PC. I have some stuff where I'm just signed in all the time on one browser, and then I switch between browsers instead of relogging in. We're having the same problem, and I'm not using uBlock. We can pretty much blame the browser, but we don't know it's always specific. Oh, it only happens on streams? Huh, 3 people confirm it exists. Interesting. Yeah. I guess you could do the lazy thing and just wait a few days. Someone will probably post about it somewhere. If you demo it live, then it's undeniable proof. I think that computer over there is actually running Firefox right now. College, I was contracting on the side for this company that had grown from freelance to college dropouts, operating full-time. They had an old client. Should them tell them their adult website was being hijacked and redirected to a scam through affiliate links. I spent days on multiple computers before I got packet sniffing with Wireshark. Shift Escape opens Task Manager in Firefox. I don't really want to debug all that stuff now. All right, that hasn't crashed anything yet. That's broken though. currently imagining a sitcom where it's just Robert Elder software. With AI, this will be possible. Hello, Robert. I hope you've been faring well, buddy. Forgive my grammar. Disgruntilities. Well, thank you for the well wishes. I'm kind of tired and spaced out tonight. I think we should use gruntledness as the feedback system for employees. Gruntledness, scale of 0 to 9. Fully disgruntled to fully grunted. I never really thought about the opposite of disgruntled as fully gruntled. Now I need to look up the definition of gruntled. It sounds like a word that they would have used in the year 1860. I managed to click something, shut my app down. But how does one show support on YouTube? It's easier on Twitch, I think. Like tips or whatever. Sorry for a long message. Nope, still broken. My tab crashed because of too much memory use. So does it just keep increasing memory usage? Five gigs. So what I'm trying to do is make it so when you add new split parts, it basically just like scales down all the existing ones and uses the leftover space for the new one. But it's not working. Oh, I'm not setting it, that's why. Wow. Yeah, I saw you said you were giving going to give a tip, but that's pretty huge. Watched a lot of your YouTube videos. Enjoyed. Man, God bless you. Good luck in the coding world. Way above my understanding. Really felt for the apartment stuff. Well, thank you very much for the incredibly generous. That's huge. Thank you very much to Fino and Mac. Mr. Jeff Bezos, indeed. Yeah, hopefully you learned some Linux stuff and got your money's worth out of it. Oh, and I forgot that's US dollars, so that puts it at 174 Canadian. Yep, this will go directly into the World Domination Fund. Is he muted? I don't think I'm muted. Can you not hear me? Yeah, I don't think I'm muted. Okay, good. People can hear me. Yeah, if you so there's a Discord. Bradley runs the Discord. Technically, I don't have a Discord. It's just too much stuff to keep track of. But if you want to join the Discord channel, there's a few people there. People keep joining the Discord, but there's not a lot of discussion in there. So but eventually, once there's enough people there, I'm sure there'll be some organic conversations. Yeah, anyway, thank you very much. That's huge. You the best, like yourself. You ain't muted. Excellent. Dominate Canada, buddy. One island at a time. Say a secret code number, and people can repeat it in chat. I think people can hear me, I guess. Officially unofficial Discord. Wait a second. What are you actually listening to in those headphones? I use it for feedback on my, what I actually sound like. So that way when I smash my hand on the microphone stand here and it makes a loud noise, then it also punishes me too, as well as you guys. I guess that's probably, I'm not big on the internet. Just wanted to show support since I seen you stream. Awesome. So are you a Linux person, or are you like a tech person, or? That's where a lot of my initial audiences come from, but some of my more recent videos have gone a lot more broad. And I guess I've been so many random things have been distracting me from actually doing any kind of coding or Linux stuff. Yeah, I guess it's useful to get some feedback on what my biggest supporters want to see more of. Join stream, donates $120, leaves afterward. Well, what what better supporter could you ask for? They give you money and they're not high maintenance. Yeah, I mean, I definitely appreciate stuff like that. I mean, $120 that's a lot of money to drop on a random YouTube channel. Especially $120 US, the actually valuable currency. Nothing from Windows, whatever's most new. Just caught ya randomly. We saw that something broke. An apartment update video stuff, I think. Honestly, been a while since I've seen vids. Text limit. Left for 20 minutes and came back to that dono. You're not random. I guess it depends. Depends what distribution you're looking at. I just really appreciate the honesty and reality in your videos. I haven't seen the stream before this. Love the way you present yourself. Well, thanks. I'll try to keep on producing more of the stuff. Out of curiosity, which of my videos have you seen? The one that got most of views was how to become a 37-year-old broke loser. That was the like million view one. I published a video on immigration recently. I'm kind of curious. There's some people said they really like that, but it's not getting a ton of views. Someone joined Discord. Yeah, with the that last hearing over, then I should have more time opening up. If you for Fino and Mac, if you haven't seen it already, check out my my most recent shorts video. I have a shorts video that I spent a bunch of time on. It's honestly, it's not really like my my other videos. At least the like kind of opened and transparent long form ones, but it's kind of like more cinematic style. But I like watching it. I watched it a bunch of times and got some good feedback. It's not very educational, but in my view, I think it's one that might. It seems like the kind of video that'll like be out there for a year and then just start to pop off and get crazy number of views. All right, this might work. TBH, I like your vids on Canadian society because it makes me feel like I'm not alone. I'm feeling Canada is kind of falling off. Here in Ontario, to be honest, it's expensive. Bad job market and other things. Yeah, I was kind of thinking about doing a like a less scripted video that's just talking about tenancy law, because I've been like it has nothing to do with programming, but it's been just dominating my mind. Retardo Joestar. Like I said, I don't understand the reference, but people don't really know about Canada's roughness outside of Canada. Yeah, the you know, like more and more I've been getting kind of like there's the kind of the often repeated phrase is like the media downplays things, or like they kind of shift the narrative and stuff like that. But like that's almost been like a historically it's almost been like a conspiracy theory or something. It's like a kind of peculiar paranoid thing to say. But more recently I've been like just thinking about it analytically, and I've noticed if you try to actually find local news about what's happening and where you live, I find it's getting really hard. Like here in Kitchener, like recently as an experiment, I go on like, I'll say like News Kitchener, and then I just Google that, and then the first result is like CTV News Kitchener. So I click on that, and on the first page they have all these videos. Like some are, it's always like stuff I really don't care about, and it's not even in Kitchener. It's like in Cambridge area or some kind of rural area around Kitchener. And then if I scroll down, then it's like popular videos, and it's like some old viral YouTube video of like a dog doing something. It's just like garbage content. And I've started to realize it just seems like these web pages are just designed to distract you, to like present you with, you look for news and they're like, okay, there's some news, but it's boring. But why not click on this video of a dog, trying to balance itself on like a yoga ball, and it does it, and then it gets a treat. And like, why not click on this, weird viral video of someone at a wedding, and the wedding cake falls, and it's crazy. And it just has nothing to do with anything related to the news. Okay, that compiled. Oh, my custom frame. Wow, excellent. This is doing what I want it to. Excelente. It's got some weird jiggle effects. That's messed up. The fact that the menu just flashes in for a sec, that's strange. I don't know why that's happening. We know about residential schools. Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms to open up. There's a lot of news about like how we were awful to Indigenous. And if you look at the history, like Canada has treated Indigenous people very poorly. But what really makes me angry is that like we continue to treat them poorly. But now we have like a day where we spend millions of dollars on a shirt to like tell everyone how we want to support them and help them. But yet there's still like reservations where they have boil water advisories since like 1950, and they have like no wastewater treatment systems. But we can buy an orange shirt and say that we're progressive and great people. Canada has really good PR. Yeah. I would agree. And it's also, I think in the future we'll have AI powered PR. That's going to be crazy. US gets called out on bad stuff, rightfully so. Were you guys here? I mean, speaking of bots, were any of you guys here the other night when that like swarm of 10 bots was spamming the chat? I went back and read the chats, and I didn't quite. What it looked like it was saying. It looked like it was say. It looks like they were instructing me to say that weird phrase like Paula Ulzi or something. No, it was a couple nights ago. Actually, I went back and I watched the VOD and I put a comment of the timestamp just so I can come back to it, and for reference. And I mean, I think one thing I've mentioned in chat before is like, I could be talking to some of you and some of you are AIs. And I went back and looked at some of the messages, and I think, actually, you know what? I probably should. I've been busy the last couple of days, but I'll probably go back and look, because everything's recorded. I'll probably go back and look at some of the previous VODs, because I may have been talking to some bots and I didn't know it, because there were a couple of those names that I'm starting to recognize. And then they all turned out into being that bot swarm. Dead internet theory, yeah. The broke loser and CPU videos were brilliant. They had many factors going for them, including uniqueness. Immigration space really crowded with content at YouTube. Yeah, it's well, I think it's crowded, but I think there's lots of demand, but also lots of supply. For my video, I thought I had some unique contributions, but it's kind of leveled off. But oh well, hopefully it got 50,000 views, so hopefully at least somebody relevant watched it who will maybe take some insights from that to fix the world a bit. Say that like we all voted for Cheeto Mussolini. I'd like to remind you we did not. Oh, I get it. I get Cheeto Mussolini. Crazy how realistic some of them are getting. Can't even blame me for not realizing it first. Yeah, like when they all started like spamming, then I was like, okay, this is, and they all started like saying strange esoteric things. And you know, at one point they asked for fun I should have like actually tried to interact with it, because it said they asked me to wave, and the message it might just be like a random troll spamming something, saying it was an you've been selected for an OpenAI training test or something. And personally, I would believe that sounds like something OpenAI would do, is like experiment on, go spam people's live streams and experiment. But he was asking me to wave, so that makes me think that if I had actually just like waved, maybe if the bots would have recognized that, which is also another, like, I mean, in my mind, I assume that this stuff is probably possible, but I would assume that people are not actually like, because it'd be like, if to set this up, it'd be a lot of work, but and to like come into my random live stream and mess around, like it's like a statement of how easily accessible it is. How much money is needed? I'm hoping to raise about $12 billion. So if I can get one person to give me $12 billion, then I think I'll be good. I'll skip the stuff about U.S. politics there. They're just checking to make sure you aren't a robot. Yeah, so the reverse Turing test. What is there? No Robert, and it's all AI generated. Show us your hands. Yeah, I mean, with some of the latest, yeah, it really does make me wonder. Like the latest version of what that Sora or whatever. Like that in the last week or so, there was hyper realistic AI videos that have been coming out that are like, I mean, those are just another level. Makes me wonder if like actual military level AI is actually more advanced than that, and like what if there are entire creators that people have been watching for years that are not real? Canada does not have an executive threatening due process, so you have that. I guess, but what do we have? We got some shenanigans. That's what we got. Honestly, could be a possibility, especially if you made custom voice profile, trained on your voice. Tell us something only the real Robert would know. But how would you confirm it, though? Actually, I've noticed on a lot of the really good AI videos, they seem to use bad voice. Like there's other independent voice generation I've heard that, like the cutting edge voice. I haven't seen many videos with the cutting edge AI voice with the cutting edge AI video. They seem to only have one or the other, but if you just did both, it'd be pretty insane. Show his hands, confirm he has 10 digits. Yeah. So that weird jiggling bug, I think, must be related to the area of the map. I think due to like character alignment, there's like a dead space in here where no cells get produced. or written. Yeah. It's like it's because it's one character wide instead of two. That's what I was getting at. They seem to use super generic voice profiles despite being very realistic. Yeah, I don't know why they'd do that. If they just paired both of them, that would be that'd really sell it. He's fixing bugs on the first try, at least some of the time, without greeting other bugs. Not an LLM. That's true, I am a superior coding machine. Alright, I think that code is successful. It does what I want. It's the beginnings of letting me resize the frames. And with that, I think I may call it a night. So yeah, tomorrow, I guess I'll be back for the same thing, and I should hopefully be a bit more rested. So, have a good night, everyone. And thank you very much to the one significant super chatter. Later.